Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na. Makes you wanna go.
Hey, 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 what do you know? What do you know? Mikki
Hey,
G. I'm happy.
y'all didn't even know.
Y'all don't even know. Freaking Frank got it done. Thank you, Mikki G, for
You're
making it happen
welcome.
today, girl.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Golden Bronze.
Thank you, everybody, for stopping by to see what foolishness we're all gabbing about today. We really do appreciate it. And we will just get right into it. Today, our topic is managing life skills that uh, people actually forgot to tell us about. And one of those things, when I say people, I mean schools, institutions, families, people in our everyday surroundings might have thought a little bit less about thinking it was important for kids nowadays to learn about. People our age did learn these things in school. And we'll start with financial literacy. Um, Back when I was a kid, parents taught me how to budget, how to operate a checkbook that nobody knows what that is anymore, how to save money, and make your money stretch from paycheck to paycheck or however. And understanding how to create and stick to a budget is important, especially for learning how to save for emergencies or future goals. And we used to learn how to do taxes. We learned how to do that in schools, and our parents taught us those things. Those things are taken for granted nowadays. People don't really teach that in school or take the time out to tell their kids how to file taxes, to understand deductions, and avoid common mistakes that could avoid big problems in the future. I'm going to ask you, Mikki G, first. Let's just pause right there. What do you think about those two things that I think is not taught to our youngsters today?
I can certainly relate to that. My mother was a financial secretary. She did accounting, and she got me my first checking account and taught me how to balance my checkbook. Like you said, most people don't know what that is at this generation. And to put aside money, she said, pay yourself. Take
Mm-hmm.
10% out of your check or whatever, pay yourself first, and then you go on with the rest of it, and taught us how to budget. I don't think that's a skill that anyone is teaching now, how to manage your money, and everything is so, it comes electronically, it goes electronically, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
going with the speed of light, and I'll figure it out at the end. But planning your money is not something that has been taught so much these days as much as it was for us back then.
Right, exactly. And I remember how getting that checkbook, my dad used to us down, teach us how to balance the checkbook, carry things forward. So we would always know what we had to spend. Now it's all electronic, like you said. The other thing that they used to do back then is teach you about taxes. A lot of that is not taught by parents
Yes.
or in school. And kids don't have a clue when it comes to taxes. I told my granddaughter of recently when she started working. Now you have to file your taxes regardless to how much money you make or don't make. You at least have to file your taxes. Don't let them get behind. And typically the law will give you 3 years, but you got a headache trying to remember what happened the past two. They don't teach that even in school, and parents, which would be our children's age, some of them, I'm not going to lump everybody together, doesn't always think that that's important to teach their child.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had to fill out those paper forms. You had to get your W-4, I think, for your
W two.
W-2. We had to fill out how many deductions, et cetera, that you wanted, and then we had the long
Oh, that is
form.
a W-4. Yep, the W
Right,
two is what you get at the end of the
right.
year.
It's the printout that you get at the end of
Yep.
the year. But you did decide your deductions, and then we had this form that we had to mark everything out by longhand. And now you can kind of go on these electric filing kind of things that we didn't have then. Plug this in,
Mhm.
plug this in, plug this in. It calculates everything, and boom, you send it to the government. But it wasn't like that. We had to do things manually, so you had to know how to do something and not just
Right.
let the computer do it.
And I think I need to make a correction. It's a W-9 that you fill out
Oh,
your
okay.
name and all that, and how many deductions. The W-2 is what you get at the end of every working
Mhm.
year to tell
Right,
you how much you made the previous year. Just
right.
for everybody out there, we kind of do know a little bit about what we're
Mhm.
talking about, just a little
Yeah,
bit. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And credit management. Oh my goodness. That is something that everybody needs to learn how to build and maintain good credit. Credit, especially nowadays, without it, you can't get a bucket to do anything with. You have to have good credit to just live comfortably. The
Mhm.
better the credit, the more you can get, and the better you can live, the more you can afford to buy. And although we don't want to be living on credit, what we're saying is to have good credit, meaning that you pay your bills on time and you pay more than the minimum due, will help you to get better credit scores, which will then allow you to be able to buy the car and the home that you want. And understanding those scores and avoid making debt is crucial. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, as far as the credit score, I have also heard or read that your jobs, potential employers look at your credit.
Yes, they
Also,
do.
insurance companies look at your credit. So it's not a
Mhm,
matter of just being able to buy things,
mhm.
get a credit card, etc. There are other entities that are looking at your credit score to see how you manage your life.
Yep.
So it's more than just buying stuff and then that plastic bandit, you just swipe
Mhm.
it, swipe it, swipe it. You don't feel it until you have to pay that interest back.
I know that's right. Or
Yeah,
pay the
yeah.
bill, let
Or
alone
pay
with
the
the
bill. Yeah, and then the
interest.
interest will eat you up. So
Yes,
you have to try to pay that balance on time. And sometimes I say, if you can't afford to pay that back, you can't afford to swipe that plastic.
that
So
is so
you
true.
better
So,
come
so
up with some
true.
cash or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I've known people to not get jobs. They had the education, they had the skill set, but they had the bad credit,
yeah,
and they were not able to, especially in a financial uh, opportunity. And so,
yeah.
break, and we will be right back. Thank you, everyone, for coming back after that quick break. So, I 100% agree with her. It's not just purchasing, it's just a whole standard of living is valued by your credit. Well, not only that, negotiating skills. Most of us were taught that whatever they offer you on a job is what you take. But that's not true. You can negotiate your worth with your employers. We need to be taught how to confidently discuss our skills and what we have to offer an employer, and even with benefits, so that we can get paid what we think that we're really worth and not accepting just what they want to give us. And that's something that I wasn't taught. I had to learn that through just living. When I started getting offers, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to work for that. I offer X, Y, and Z. You go find somebody who has no experience and
Yeah.
offer that to them. But I'm coming to you with experience, and that should account for something. But I wasn't taught that. It's just I was bold enough to say it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I was coming up, that's when people got the jobs at, let's say, the car manufacturers, the post office, the phone company, etc. And where I worked, we had unions who negotiated those things for us. So we didn't have to negotiate those things now. But now, if you get offered a contract or something, you can negotiate those things. But in union jobs, someone else negotiates that for you. So we we didn't go through all those skills back in those days because
Right.
you work until a certain time. They have your pension set there for you. When you retire, when you're, let's say, 60, then you'll have money sitting there for you. It's not like that
Right.
in a lot of areas now. So it's a little
Yep,
bit.
I think that pension thing is a thing of the past for most organizations nowadays, for
Right.
the young people. But one of the other things that I can honestly say that I didn't get training on, and that's because of the gender role thing, is home maintenance. Um, Fixing minor plumbing, electrical, and appliance issues, and performing routine upkeep. I always have to hire somebody for that because I wasn't taught any of those skills. And it goes back to, I grew up in the gender era where they're getting right back to that if we're not careful. But also, girls are not taught cooking basics anymore. We used to take home economics and learn how to prepare nutritious meals, understanding how to grocery shop and get healthy food items. And those junk food items weren't priority. They were at the bottom of the list after you got all the other basic needs that you needed. And car maintenance. I know how to change a tire and to check my battery and to jump start a car. That's about it. I couldn't do anything else with a car. Again, it was the gender role thing, but I think that it might be helpful in today's society to train girls and boys how to do some of those same gender roles, because not everybody gets married. It's more common to stay single, nowadays. What do you think about my thought on that?
Well, um, yes. When my eldest child was in high school, because of what I had been through, I told her to take auto mechanics. And she took auto mechanics when they had VOTEC in school because I didn't
Mhm.
want her to be one of those women who were taken at the
Yes,
repair
like,
shop like
like
me.
me.
Because you have certain body parts you get taken. They see you coming, and I didn't want her to have that. So she learned how to change your oil, how to change a tire, things like that. Not to take a car apart and put it back together, nothing like that. But
Mhm.
the other ones I didn't encourage to do that, but I thought it was really important for her. And even in the cooking class and sewing class. I took
Mhm.
those in school.
I
This
did
is
too.
no middle school. She taught us how to make snickerdoodles and different things like that. We learned
Mhm.
about the temperature on the oven. We learned about those kinds of things. So when we got to be adults, we could take care of ourselves. We could feed ourselves. It's a practical skill. Those things are practical. And
I
even
really wish they would bring them back. I really do.
Oh, I think you
Yeah.
have to pay for them now. They're in technical schools that you have to pay for. It used to be part of your education
Yes, it
because we
was.
took we took woodwork, we took metal work, we took different things like that. Now, my late husband was good at all that, so I learned some things from him. But in school, there
And
was
see, when I was in school, which was a little ahead of you, but not too far ahead of you, they didn't offer woodwork to girls. It was home ec sewing, which I took all of that. But if you saw a girl in woodwork or auto mechanics or something like that, you it was not normal, for lack of a better word, for a girl to be off in those settings. However, I don't feel like it's abnormal. I feel like girls should learn those same skills, just like boys learn to be excellent chefs and cooks
right.
and things like that. And that was something that was kind of taboo back then too, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It makes for a more well-rounded person instead of you choosing a
Mhm.
VOTEC class at a school saying, I want to take culinary classes or I want to take this or that. That takes you down a certain path. But when you're in school, you have the option to take all of these things and see what your skill set is. And you
Right.
might want to take that on as a career. It at the very least, you know how to take care of yourself.
And guess what?
What?
My coming up, my parents thought it was very imperative that I know domestic stuff, cooking, cleaning, sewing, washing, ironing. But they didn't feel like it was so much a priority for me to learn how to fix a car
Right.
or do woodwork or whatever. However, and I always said there was a double standard in my family, so mama, you can get mad at me if you want to, it's my truth. She taught my brother how to cook. She taught my brother how to do laundry. She taught my brother how to do those things in case he never got married, right? How
Right.
to take care of himself that way, but not me to do the other kind of things. And I don't even want to put a title on what they are called. but I don't want to say man things versus female,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But there was a double standard there. It was important for him to know how to take care of himself if he didn't have a wife. But it wasn't thought that it was just as important for me to learn how to do the other things in case I didn't have a husband. So now I have to play out the wazoo because I don't know how to do those things. Yeah.
Right. The beauty of it
So
is we can learn now, you know?
yeah, except I don't want to get under a hood now.
But at
I
least
don't
you'll
want
know.
to now.
Yeah, but you know what they're talking about when they tell you, oh no, you need a new this or that. And you say, no, no, no. My spark plugs were changed last year. You can't tell me that that's what's going on because we're a little
I
bit more
do know how
savvy.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
know how to poke my nose into that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
another break, and we will be right back.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for returning. I am so happy. Y'all just don't know why, but that's my secret and my co-host.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's okay to be happy. We're most of the time happy
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, we are.
So, I want to add to one of the skills that people don't teach, and it's not just the young people, but time management, balancing and sometimes, let me just say before I elaborate, I'm guilty. I'm really good at time management, but I'm bad also at the same time, sometimes because I sometimes feel overwhelmed. But managing and balancing your work with your personal life. So, that second part, I tend to sometimes neglect, which can put you in a state of just feeling overwhelmed or depressed or momentarily whatever, but you need to learn how to balance the two so that your life is more balanced and equal, and the responsibilities that come along with that effectively. That is very, very important. Before
Yes.
I go on to more, what do you think about that, Mikki?
Oh, well, that is kind of what I struggle with sometimes because I sometimes have this squirrel mentality. I'm focused on something and then squirrel, I'm distracted. Something will take me off of what I'm doing, and I'd rather do something else anyway. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do give into wandering thoughts and thinking I'm trying to read up on this book. I think I'm gonna go cook. I think I'm gonna go do this or that. So that is the issue. However, and I think you're the same. We're sticklers for time, being on time for things,
Mhm.
and expecting others to be on time because time is
Mhm.
very important. So when we have
Mhm.
appointments, I think that's something I can say both of us are very
Mhm.
strong in. But for me, sometimes the distractions get me when I have tasks to do.
Very well spoken. This is very near and dear to me, but I think having the skill of emergency preparedness, knowing basic first aid, CPR, and how to handle emergencies like power outages and natural disasters and different things like that. And I have often felt slighted in my life because I know how to do that for others. But I used to sit and think, what would happen to me if that happened to me? The people in the room in the house with me don't know CPR.
Right.
They wouldn't know where to start. Minutes or seconds are crucial
Right.
in situations like that. I think it should be a requirement for everybody to at least know CPR at the basic. Your
Yes.
thought?
Yeah. You make a very good point on that. And I remember when I was a foster parent, we had to take CPR. But as you stated, everyone should know CPR because you're not necessarily going to be at home. You might be at the store. You might run across someone who's in trouble, and then you're standing there. It's important to know. And since you brought that up, I need a refresher on that because
Yeah,
there
and
are
I'm
people
thinking
around me
the
that I
same
need help.
thing of like being in the home. In
Right,
my house, not one person knows how to do CPR or could
right,
save my life,
right,
but I could save theirs. And I think it should be required in the schools. Get your driver's license, something
right,
that
right.
everybody know basic CPR. It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's true because you might be the only one standing between life and death's door for someone, even if you don't know them. And
Right.
especially in your home, since you're a trained nurse, of
Hmm.
course you would probably know that. But I
Hmm.
think it's basic knowledge that people should know how to save a life You just
That's what
never
I'm
know who you're
talking
going to be
about,
around.
Nikki.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It could be your baby, because you learn
Right.
CPR for adults and children. It could be your
Philip.
mama,
Mhm.
your kid,
Right.
and seconds matter. And that is something that I don't know. Maybe I'll just
Mm.
bark a little louder about
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And really press the issue because it is
Yes,
important. Yeah.
right. Another thing that sometimes I can honestly say I have a problem with, because I will do the flight, run or walk away, is conflict resolution. I don't like conflict, so I will distance myself with anybody that brings it into my life. And that has a lot to do with my life that I've had in the past with a domestic abuse, right?
Mhm.
And so conflict, depending on how it is presented to you, can be abusive. And through the trials of therapy and everything, I have learned to distance myself from what doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Right.
But there's a thin line, right? So we all need to know how to handle disagreements constructively without escalating to both parties. Because someone else on the other side of the fence could be the one that's escalating the tension. And I am the type, instead of trying to sit down and talk about it, I will distance myself. I'm done. And that's not always the best way to go about it. But that's
Right.
the process, and I'm not making excuses. I am aware that maybe sometimes I need to say how people make me feel. And even though I made you feel this way, you made me feel this way. I just never said anything to you about it.
Yeah.
I kept quiet when I probably should have spoken up,
Yeah.
and then we wouldn't have gotten to this point. So,
Mhm.
we all need to learn that skill.
Yeah. We need to know the proper way to handle conflicts if it's possible. Sometimes the situation is far too volatile for us to insert ourselves into it, but negotiating skills, I guess maybe if we took debate in school,
Yeah.
debate classes, that probably would give us
No,
an
Mickey, that'll
edge.
create more problems, because like then people think, well, you always want to debate everything. I
Yeah,
took debate. And so
yeah,
I tend to want to do that. And I've been
yeah,
accused of debating everything when I'm trying
yeah,
to make my point.
yeah,
And so I don't know, you might be right, but then
mm,
again, people that
yeah,
do debate
yeah,
tend to carry that over into uh, just everyday life, and everybody doesn't receive that at all.
yeah, yeah. And I didn't take debate. I'm just doing it based on, conversation back and forth, but it's not a gentle conversation that they're having back and forth. I think I'm more of a negotiator, but if it's something I'm emotionally attached to, or if it's
Mhm.
too volatile, I'm staying out of it. But if someone
Yeah.
wants advice as to how to navigate something, then
Mhm.
I'm pretty good at that. So
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
good.
mind that.
With me, I tend to hold my own thoughts and emotions in, and then say, like, if you did something that continually bothered me, and I'm like, I don't like conflict, so I didn't bring it up.
Right,
Well, then
right.
later on, I do or say something to you that you don't like. So now you gonna tell me by myself.
Hmm.
But I have gone all this time and I didn't tell you.
Right.
So maybe I'm this way because you were that way, and that doesn't excuse it. But
Right.
that's where we need to learn how to have resolution without having conflict. That's
Right.
the point I'm making.
Right. Knowing how to respond is very, very important in those
Mhm.
areas.
And when to know when it's time to say something. All right, everyone. I like this. We'll be right back.
Okay. See you in a
Keep
bit.
it. All right, everyone. Thank you, and thank you for returning back. So, another life skill that a lot of us need, there's many, many, we're just touching on a few, is basic nutrition. Understanding how food impacts our energy, our health, and our longevity. Many of us go through life just eating whatever we want to eat, drinking whatever we want to drink, and then 20, 30 years later, it catches up to us. So we need to learn early on, and that comes from those home economic courses that they used to offer. They did teach you nutrition about the main vegetable categories and meat and protein and all that. They don't do that in school anymore. And I think that it's important that we get back to basic nutritional value, teaching that as a life skill, along with the physical fitness. They play hand in hand, incorporating movement into our daily routines for our overall health. And a lot of us grew up with sedentary jobs where we either sat all day at a desk talking on a phone or doing assembly or, whatever that may be, secretaries or, admin, where you don't move around that much, but you sit there and munch on snacks all day while you're sitting there. So we need to learn life skills about how to get up from that desk every hour for a few minutes and stretch and move around and walk or whatever the case may be. Those are two life skills that need to be focused on along with the sleep. Prioritizing good sleep habits for better focus at work or school, our overall health, and it can affect your mood. If you don't get enough sleep, you tend to get moody, cranky, and irritable. What do you think about
Yeah.
that, Nikki?
That was a loaded topic. Um, I was thinking straight from the food first, from that. Um, the four food groups, we were taught that in school. And far too often now, because we have microwave, chips, things like that, children tend to say, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to eat that.
Right,
I don't eat that. And their parents become short order cooks and just give them what they like. Now, I, as growing up, and you probably were the same, growing up, you ate what was on your plate. You learn you ate the vegetables. You didn't say, I don't want this. If you did, you go home, you go to bed hungry. So that, along with the degradation of food,
yes.
how it's not as healthy for us anymore, and we're just eating whatever, our bodies get used to that. You also talked about sleep deprivation. Not
Hmm.
only can it cause your thinking to be foggy, but your immune system can be compromised because you're not getting adequate sleep when your body is repairing itself at night.
Hmm.
And the other thing you mentioned was exercise and moving around. I don't know if children have recess or
I
PE
don't
or
even
anything
think
like
they
that.
have recess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now the little ones might, but as far as getting out into the air and sun, instead of sitting in the house playing video games, my mother would kick us out every summer because she worked in the school system, kick us out and say, "You can't stay in here under me, go someplace." And we walk everywhere. So
Right.
I don't think that that's happening for children anymore or adults. We're
Right.
sitting and watching TV.
Right. So, managing stress, that is one of our initiatives for Golden Swan Cadre, techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and prioritization to cope with challenges that we all have in life. We need to learn more uh, on how to do that as well, because all those things can make your life just a little bit more pleasant and easy to operate in if you learn how to deal with those life skills. And parenting or caregiving, uh, the basics of raising children and or taking care of loved aged ones. Many of us don't learn that either, and we should learn how to do that as well.
Yeah, yeah, we should learn how to care about someone besides ourselves, which happens very often. And I'm thinking about the elder portion. And I'll say this real quick about children. A lot of times, contemporary parents want to be their children's friends when they should be raising them, and
Mhm.
teaching them the things that they need to teach them. My three words I would tell my children when they say, "I don't like this, I don't like that," I say, "I don't care. This is what you're going to learn, and this is what you're going to do." And they
Right,
learned boundaries. They learned certain skills because I wasn't going to be their friend. I can be their friend now because they're adults, but not then.
right. Exactly. I could not have said that any better. And I want to thank everybody, Mikki G, for your input on the topic today. And I want to thank everybody for listening to Gab with Golden Bronze. These are just a few topics that have to do with learning life skills. Maybe we'll do a part two later on. But while some of these skills are being incorporated into newer curriculums, many adults still find themselves learning them through trial and error, even at our age, because we do life with not learning many of them. And as I said, there are many, many more. We just touched on a few. I want to thank you for listening to what we had to say today. I hope that some of what we said helps you, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You can't tear me down. You can't tear me down.
Hello, this is Golden Bronze with Gab with Golden Bronze, and we also sponsor Golden Swan Cadre, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that advocates against domestic violence towards women. But we also advocate for women's health issues, including mental health, maternity health, self-care, and mindfulness. Now, my co-host might repeat some of that, but I think it's important that I tell you that as well. I started Golden Swan Cadre November the 7th, 2022, and we were certified, our tax-exempt certification from the state of Texas, February the 7th, 2023. We have been in existence for about 2 years, and I started it because I am a survivor myself of domestic violence and really struggled during that time just to maintain what I had and continue the same lifestyle for myself and my children. So it was important for me to pay it forward after I became a thriver. We do have some initiatives that I would like to talk about, but before I do, I would like to tell you what our vision is. So, Golden Swan Cadre's vision, our vision is a society free of domestic abuse and violence, where all individuals are valued, respected, and treated equally. We strive to create a culture where healthy relationships are the norm, and all forms of domestic violence are eliminated through education, prevention, and intervention. Our goal is to empower survivors while working in partnership with communities to promote safety, justice, and healing for all. Now, it's just as important to know what our mission is. Excuse me. Our mission is to provide support, services, motivation, and education regarding domestic abuse or violence, which is synonymous. Women's health issues, including mental health, encourage self-care and mindfulness, as well as to promote awareness, prevention, and advocacy within low to moderate income communities. We strive to create a safe and empowering environment where individuals and families can heal and thrive, free from the cycle of violence while improving one's physical and mental health. We have coalesced a myriad of circumstances and opportunities to define and carry forward our purpose, Well, you say, what is our purpose? Good question. Our purpose is empowering women to thrive once they have willfully removed themselves from domestic abuse or violence through mentorship by encouraging self-nurturing, healthy nutrition, building self-esteem, and by setting an example and providing victims with resources, emotional support, or referrals to appropriate entities for that support beyond our expertise. It is important to know that we do not break up families. We do not intervene in relationships and marriages. These young ladies are referred to us by the domestic violence centers once they are released from their programs. We also provide some assistance at that time once they have left the centers and as they embark on surviving and becoming head of households through single family journeys. One of the ways that we provide that assistance is we have a program called Adopt a Room. We will ask them which room they would like for us to furnish and decor. We would love to be able to do whole apartments, but our pockets are not that big yet, and that's where you come in at. But we'll get to that in a minute. We will furnish and decor whatever room that they desire to the best of our resources and abilities. That program again is called Adopt a Room. We try to support them throughout 12 consecutive months with little things that they might need help with. And so that's how we financially provide resources for them. We do mentorship, we do prayer, we provide seminars, and all sorts of resources. If they need some counseling, we have resources for that too. We do not advise or encourage them to do anything that they are not comfortable with or willing to do. Within our purpose, our goal is to collaborate with multiple domestic violence centers, similar entities, or safe homes to be impactful within the communities that we serve in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Jersey. We hope to keep the momentum going, and maybe we can do more for people in other states. Each one of us within this organization carries our own weight in gold, a precious metal that can be hammered and bent out of shape, but not broken. We are women who were once not seen as a diamond in the rough, gleaming of subjective flaws, now glowing with golden perfection from the inside out, reflecting our beauty, intelligence, grace, and elegance. We are golden swans. Now my co-host will elaborate a little further to tell you how you can donate and support Golden Swan Cadre. We do solicit your help so that we can do even more, broaden our range, and be able to provide more resources for women. Our mantra is women helping women. Now next is my co-host, Mikki G.
Hello there, I'm Mikki G, and we're so glad you joined us here on Gab with Goldn Bronze for another show. We always want to bring you various topics in our discussions that range from educational to lighthearted. One of the things that Goldn Bronze mentioned earlier is that Gab with Goldn Bronze sponsors the Golden Swan Cadre. I am a proud member of the Golden Swan Cadre, which is a 501c3 domestic nonprofit organization that advocates against domestic violence towards women. We also advocate for women's health issues, mindfulness, and self-care. Golden Swan Cadre assists women after they begin their single head of household journeys with helping them to decor one room in their home. We offer peer-to-peer support, empowering women to take control of their lives. We educate to help women understand what domestic abuse is, which encourages them to work out the resources and therapy to help her through the trauma brought on by abuse. Goldn Swan Cadre is mostly self-funded. Therefore, we are asking for your support through donations anywhere from $1 to $100. Every dollar adds up, so these are the ways that you may donate. If you have Chime, go to $Goldn Swan Cadre. The G, the S, and the C are all capital letters, so make sure you put it in that way so you can find us. If you use PayPal, enter thegoldenSwanCadre.com. You may also go to our website, and we encourage you to do that. Look around in there to see what we're doing and what our initiatives are. Our website is www.goldenswancadre.com. Now, if you're on social media, you may find us on Instagram in the charity section. Enter the official _ Goldn Swan Cadre. If you're a Facebook user, you also go to the charity section and find Goldn Swan Cadre. Join us in making a positive impact today for this worthy cause, and we thank you in advance for your support. Now, I have an announcement. Big news. Gab with Goldnbronze's show is expanding. You can now hear our show on Village Global Network Radio every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Tune in and hear us there, and come back right here to see us here. We thank you for joining Gab with Goldnbronze, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.
Now that you have heard from Mikki G, I would like to say to you, please tune in tomorrow, same place, same time, and we will have another great topic or a great guest to introduce you to. So be blessed and come back again tomorrow to DuPont TV Network to see Gab with Goldnbronze. We really do appreciate it, and thank you.